Hello there. It's your friend Saeed Risalat. You've got to check out this video about an incredible Albanian folklore myth. It's got everything: adventure, magic, and a clever protagonist who outwits a formidable foe. Trust me, you won't want to miss this captivating story that's full of surprises and life lessons. So grab your popcorn and join me for a journey into the fascinating world of Albanian folklore. This is one of many Albanian folklore myths. Further reading. L.C. Robert. 2015. Albanian Folktales and Legends. The Snake and the King's Daughter Trouble. The king chuckled and replied, "I will give my daughter to your son under the following conditions. Your cottage must be a palace as big as mine by tomorrow. The path from your door to my door must be spanned with silk, and 400 attendants must be waiting on horseback, one for every hue and color on earth. If you can do all that by tomorrow morning, I will give my daughter to your son in marriage." When the old woman heard this, she departed, happy this time to not be kicked and beaten about. She reported to the snake what the king had said, and the snake simply replied, "Everything will be ready in time." At the stroke of midnight, the snake blew on the ring and said, "May the old woman's cottage turn into a palace bigger than the king's." Out whether his daughter was still alive. When he was told that she was fine and there was no need to worry, he became suspicious and didn't believe what he had heard. The next week, the king sent a servant to invite his daughter and the snake to lunch. When his daughter and his son-in-law arrived, the girl's mother began to weep, saying, "Oh, my poor daughter. We have caused you such grief. How miserable you must be." But the girl replied that she felt very lucky. A few days later, a great wedding was to be held in another part of town, to which the king and his daughter were invited. The snake said to his wife, "You go ahead. I'll come later this evening so that no one will know that it is I, turned into a human being. And remember, you mustn't tell anybody what you know, because you won't see me again if you do." The girl went off to the wedding alone, and when darkness fell, the snake shed its skin, put on some splendid garments, and followed her. When the two arrived, everyone rose in awe because they thought an angel had just come in. A little later, he began to dance so gracefully that everyone stood still in amazement and thought, "That is no being of this world. He must have come from heaven." The girl's mother, sitting beside her, said, "My dear girl, how lucky you would be if you had a man like that for a husband." The girl couldn't stand any longer and burst out, "That is my husband, mother. That is Swift, the man I love." The moment she spoke, Swift became invisible, and no one understood where he had disappeared to so swiftly. The girl looked around, could not see him anywhere, and broke into tears. "Now look what you made me do, mother," she sobbed. "He warned me not to tell anyone who he was, or he would leave me forever. I must set off in search of him. He told me that if I tried to find him I would need iron shoes, an iron staff, and a traveling case." Her parents gave her what she needed, and she set off in search of her husband. She roamed for days and nights, and finally went to seek the advice of the son. Only the son's mother and children were at home, and the children immediately set upon the girl to devour her. The mother, however, stopped them and invited the girl in. "Why have you come here?" she asked. The girl told her everything that had happened and said, "I would like to ask your child, the son, whether he has seen my husband anywhere in the course of his travels." The old woman replied, "The son isn't back yet, but we can ask him when he gets in. I fear though that he will eat you up when he comes back all tired and smells a human being." "He won't eat me if you don't want him to," countered the girl. The old woman felt sorry for her and hid her. When the son came home for dinner, Exhausted from his long journey, he said to his mother the moment he sat down, "I smell human flesh. Bring me some of it to eat, because I'm terribly tired." The mother replied, "There is no human here, my lad. Who would possibly come to visit us?" "Oh yes, there is," said the son. "Bring me the human. I won't eat him. I'll just ask what he wants." The old woman made the son promise not to eat the human, brought the girl out of hiding and took her next to the son. The girl said to the son, "I'm looking for Swift, my husband. I've come to ask your majesty if you've seen him anywhere in the course of your travels." The son replied, "No, I haven't seen him anywhere. But go and ask the moon if he's seen him at night." The poor girl continued on her way, wandering for many days and nights until she finally reached the moon. The moon could not tell her anything either and sent her onto the wind. Once again she set off, walking and, with the last ounce of her energy, just managed to reach the house of the wind. There she met the wind's elderly mother and the little wind children who came blowing around to devour her. The old woman stopped them, however, and invited the girl in. "Why have you come here, my daughter?" she asked. The girl told her the reason for her journey and where she had been. The wind's mother said, "We'll ask him. I'm afraid thought that he'll eat you up on the spot when he comes back all tired and smells a human being." But the girl insisted once more, saying, "He won't eat me if you don't want him to." The old woman took pity on the girl and hid her. When the wind came in for breakfast, he could smell human flesh right away and said to his mother, "I smell human flesh. Bring me some of it to eat, for I am very tired." The mother replied, "How could there possibly be any humans here?" But he insisted that she bring forth the human and finally promised, "I won't eat the human, mother, but bring him out so that I can ask him a few questions." The mother made the wind give his word of honor and brought the girl out. The wind asked her why she had gone to all the trouble she'd been through. "I am in search of Swift, my husband," said the girl. "It has been a long time since he disappeared, and I haven't been able to find him." "Your husband is being held prisoner by a Kulshedra beyond the sea. He's a long, long way from here," said the wind. The girl implored him, "I must find him, no matter how far away he is. I beg your excellency to take me with you across the sea." The wind replied, "I would gladly take you with me, but I'm afraid you would fall off along the way, because I am very swift." "No, I won't fall off," she assured him. "Please take me with you." The wind took pity on the girl and lifted her up on his back, saying, "Hold on to my hair and don't look down or you'll get dizzy." The wind gave out a strong gust and carried the girl across the sea, depositing her beside a spring. The poor girl had just sat down for a while to rest when suddenly a terrifying roar echoed from the mountains. A Kulshedra appeared at the spring and, catching the sight of the girl, began to hop around on one leg, chanting, "First I had one, now I have two, my precious one." It seized the girl and took her to its home where Swift was being held prisoner. He recognized his wife at once, but didn't dare say anything because he was frightened of the Kulshedra. Making sure the Kulshedra would not notice, he threw his ring into a jug that the wife had to wash so that she would know he was there. And it worked. As she was washing the jug, the ring fell into her hands and she recognized it was as her husband's. Later, when they had an opportunity to see one another, he whispered to her, "Don't talk to me when the Kulshedra is present or it will devour us." The Kulshedra fed the two of them well so that it could devour them later, the wife first and then the husband. It had also overheard them talking. One day the Kulshedra said to his wife, "When I get back for dinner, my girl, I want to find the house swept in certain parts and unswept in others." As the poor wife was wondering what to do, her husband woke up and asked what she was thinking. She told him about the Kulshadra's orders and that she was wondering how to carry them out. The husband said, "Let me take care of things. Look for a bread crust and bring it here. Use it to sweep the floor and draw it behind you when you put it away. That way some parts of the house will be swept and others unswept." And so the wife did what her husband had suggested. When the Kulshadra came home that evening and asked the wife whether she had done her chores, she replied, "Yes, I've finished, mother." The Kulshadra looked around and saw that everything had been done exactly as it had wanted. "That wasn't your idea," shouted the monster. "It was your husband's." The next day the Kulshadra said to the young woman again, "When I get home this evening, daughter, I want to find 2 cauldrons full of tears here, and if I don't, I shall devour you." When the Kulshadra had left, the girl took out the 2 cauldrons, placed them in front of her and began to weep to fill them up. But in vain, the cauldrons would not fill up. When her husband got up, he found his wife weeping and asked her what the matter was. She explained that the Kulshadra had demanded 2 cauldrons full of tears the night before and that otherwise she would be devoured. The husband said to her, "What a fool you are! Do you think you can fill these cauldrons with tears? Rest for a moment and let me handle this. Take the cauldrons and fill them with water. Add a handful of salt and cover them up." The young woman did as her husband had said. When the Kulshadra got back that evening and asked whether she had done her chores, the woman replied, "I finished everything, mother." The Kulshadra went over and saw that the cauldrons were indeed full of tears. Tasting the liquid with the tip of its tongue, the Kulshadra realized that it was salty like tears, and said to the woman, "I know very well, daughter, that this wasn't your idea, but Swift's." Following this, the Kulshadra began to hate the young man and planned how it would eat him. But the young man sensed the danger, so he put on some old clothes and went out to one of the Kulshadra's forests to chop wood. The Kulshadra searched through all its forests but could not find him. One day, however, the Kulshadra happened by while the young man was still chopping wood and, hearing the sound of the axe, shouted, "Who dares to chop wood in my forest?" He replied, "I am a poor man and am making a coffin for a young man who just died." The Kulshadra asked who the young man was. "A handsome lad whose name was Swift," the man replied. The Kulshadra was delighted when it heard that Swift had died, and said, "Oh, how happy I am." It approached the coffin. The young man asked, "Did you know the lad?" "Yes," it replied. "Take courage then, your majesty," said the young man, "and climb in and see if I've done everything properly." "I'm so happy that he's dead," said the Kulshadra again, and climbed into the coffin. The young man shut the coffin right away, locked it and set it on fire. When he had made sure that the Kulshadra had been burned to ashes, he returned home and said to his wife, "The Kulshadra is gone forever. Pack your things and let us return home." So they gathered up all their things, went back home and lived happily ever after. The man who had once been a snake in the daytime and a human being at night was now a human being forever. And there you have it, folks. The tale of the snake and the king's daughter is not just a story. It's a journey into the heart of Albanian folklore, where courage, love, and cunning reign supreme. This myth reminds us that no challenge is too great when faced with determination and cleverness. So, whether you're a fan of folklore, mythology, or just love a good story, this one's for you. Join me next time for more captivating tales from around the world. Until then, keep exploring, keep dreaming, and keep believing in the magic of stories. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more fascinating folklore and mythology tales. Your support means the world to me. Thank you.